Hello children, how are you? So, here we are to revise the lesson Understanding our Earth. As you all know that a test are there, and to secure the good marks in the test, what is the key to success? A key to success to secure the good marks is a regular revision of the lesson, a proper preparation of the chapter. So let's have a revision of a lesson Understanding our Earth. Students, when we talk about Earth, we always try to find out what is there on the Earth. But how we can find, as we all know, that Earth, the third planet in the solar system, is very big and we cannot move from one place to another. So which device is used to know about the Earth? We have two devices like your map and globe. So let's start first with the map. Now let us know what's the definition of map is. A map is a representation of the Earth's surface or a part of it on a flat surface. I am repeating once again, a map is a representation of the Earth's surface. It represents the Earth's surface or a part of it on a flat surface. Whereas, what is globe? The model of the Earth is called globe. Then what are the things or why it is useful to us? Why globe and map are useful to us? Let us see. But when we compare globe and map, we find, children, that a map is better than a globe. A. Map can be folded and carried anywhere. Yes, it is very easy to carry the map from one place to another, like your workbook. Sometimes you keep it on your table when we ask you to do the map skill during your classroom or during your activity. And after, when the period gives over, you immediately keep it in your bag. You close your notebook, workbook, and keep it in your bag. And if again you want to study and you want to go in another room and study, you can easily carry. See, from your home to school, you bring the Earth along with you. But how? With the map, which you have folded inside, and you keep it in your bag and bring it to the school, or you from one room to the other. Map gives more specific and detailed information as compared to a globe. When we compare map and globe, we find that map gives more specific and detailed information comparatively to the globe. And where do we find all the maps easily of the world? A book of maps. There is a book, like we have dictionary where all the vocabulary is there. We have a social science book, class 5, where we are talking about the world. All the chapters are there. In the same way, a book of maps is called an atlas. Maps are of three types: physical map, political map, and thematic maps. What are physical maps? The map showing only the physical features such as plateaus, mountains, plains, and rivers is called physical map. What are physical maps? The map showing only the physical features. What are physical features like your plateaus, mountains, plains, and rivers is called physical map. Political maps. The political map shows the political division of the world, continents, countries, states, districts. When we talk about the political map, children, it is clear that the division of the country, okay, to so that it can function properly. That is why the political division is being done of the country, so that the proper administration can be done. So, in the political map, when we talk about the world, we can see the world continents, we can see the countries, we can see the states, we can see the districts, towns, everything. Then comes your thematic maps. When we talk about the thematic maps, there are maps that show rainfall, population, roads, railways, minerals, crops, etc. and focus on this specific information. It means thematic maps always talks about some specification, specific information. Okay. So now there are certain limitations of globe and map. Globe. It is not comfortable to carry. Number 2. All details cannot be shown on it. Number 3. We cannot make a globe for a part or area of our earth. Number 4. It can show only one side of the earth at one time. If you want to see the other part, you have to rotate the globe. Now let us see what are the limitations of the map. We are saying that the map is comparatively better, but let us see what actually the limitation of map is. A map cannot show the correct shape of the earth because one cannot flatten the earth's surface. As we all know that the Ferdinand Magellan proved that the earth is round in shape. So when we talk about the earth through the map, we find that it is a flattened in shape. Okay, so it cannot show, the earth cannot show the, first of all, the correct shape, and secondly, because one cannot flatten the earth's surface. Number 2, it requires special references and symbols to understand a map. So children, we cannot study the map without any special references. That means the indexes are used. We use the index, whether we are telling about the what is the rainfall. So we need the references. Or we have the index, the colors which I use. We have to be very prominent about the colors in the map. Third thing is about the symbols. We have certain symbols which are used in the map, whether it is a specific map, that is your thematic maps or political map, or the physical map. Every map has directions, signs, symbols and scales. So what is this map consist of? The constituents of maps are, it should have the direction, it should have the signs, different signs which are used, the symbols, conventional symbols which we are using on the map, and the scale, the measurement, because we are not able to measure because earth is so big. So we always give the scale to measure for the distance. So this is called the language of a map. This is the basically language of a map. There are 4 main directions. How many directions are there? There are 4 main directions. What are those 4 directions? North, south, east and west. We have the 4 directions. What are those directions? North, south, east and west. And you all know that these main directions, these cardinal directions are divided into the sub-directions, or we call it as intermediate directions. So what are these intermediate directions are? Or we can say the other directions. Northwest, Northwest lies between north and west. Northeast. It means northeast lies between north and east. And when we talk about southeast, the southeast lies between south and east. Similarly, when we talk about southwest, the southwest lies between south and west. So we have 4 main directions and 4 sub-directions. As I told you earlier also, when we talk about map, we have different signs, symbols, we have directions, as well as very important thing, that is the scale. So we need scale. Why do we need the scale? Because we cannot show the actual size of the earth on a map. We cannot show the actual size on the earth on a map. So what do? We take a scale. A scale is the ratio between the distance on the map and their actual distance on the ground. So a scale is the ratio between the distance on the map and their actual distance on the ground. The scale of a map is often shown as a line with distances marked on it. So how? Like suppose 1 centimeter is equal to 100 kilometers. Okay. So if we want to know the direction, it is known that 1 centimeter is equal to 100 kilometers. And if we want to find out that the distance between Kanpur and suppose Delhi, if we want to mark somewhere about 600 kilometers, so we will mark 6 centimeter, okay, of any place. Then different signs and symbols are used to give information on map. Yes, without using the sign and symbol, map is of no use, because without it we cannot find the information related to the map, to any country, to the physical conditions, to the physical situations of the country. We are not able to find out. So these signs and symbols are called conventional symbols. So what they are called? They are called the conventional symbols. And these conventional symbols are universal. Universal means everyone follow it. By seeing the map, we understand, okay, this is the symbol for the particular thing. Like when we see the police station, or we have a bridge, we have a state boundary, metal road. So we use the symbols. We take a right turn, left turn. See, these are the common signs and symbols which are used on a map. Conventional symbols are universal, but why? Because number 1, every map has a key. Yes, we always use a key on a map. Number 2, cartographers create standard universal symbols on a map. Who are cartographers? Cartographers are the person who design the maps, or one who makes the map. So these cartographers create standard universal symbols on a map so that everyone can easily understand and relate to the country according to those symbols. Number 3, symbols express significant features on earth represented on the map. So these symbols express the significant, means important features on earth which are represented on the map. There are colors that represent different landforms on a map. Children, if you remember from class 3rd onward, we tell you the color. Use the color for the Indian Ocean, blue color, Arabian Sea. Why? Because these colors depict about the different landforms. Like light blue color we always use for the shallow water, dark blue, deep water, green, low lands and plains, brown, low mountains and plateaus, dark brown, high mountains, yellow for desert. If you remember Rajasthan and Gujarat, you always color with the yellow color because that is the desert area. Punjab, Haryana, we always ask you to color with the green color because they are the lowlands and plains area. So now next is Our earth has 71% water and 29% of land. This is the distribution of land and water on the earth. Continents. What are continents? Continents are big land masses. What are continents? Continents are big land masses. A very large deep water is called an ocean. What is ocean? A very large deep water is called an ocean. So, how many continents are there? There are 7 continents and 5 oceans in the world. Asia is the largest continent. And where does it lies? It lies in the northern hemisphere. As you all know that the earth is divided into 2 equal parts. The part which is above the equator is northern hemisphere. The part which is below the equator is the southern hemisphere. So, Asia lies above the equator. So, it is in the northern hemisphere. The Himalayas, the highest mountains range, lie in Asia. Africa is the second largest continent. It is also called the dark continent. Africa is the second largest and it is also called as the dark continent. Clear? And then comes your North America. North America is the third largest continent of the world. South America. South America is the fourth largest continent of the world. Brazil is the largest country of South America. Europe. Europe is the sixth largest continent of the world. What about Australia? Australia is an island continent. This is the smallest continent of the world. Australia is a continent as well as a country too. Great Britain. Great Britain is a European island country. Okay. The Pacific Ocean is the deepest and the largest ocean. Let us talk about the oceans. The Pacific Ocean is the deepest and the largest ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is the busiest ocean. It separates the Europe from North America. That means the lot of business is being done with the help of this Atlantic Ocean. Okay, because it is the busiest ocean. The Indian Ocean is the only ocean which has name after a country. That is India. The Antarctic Ocean is a frozen continent. It is also called the Southern Ocean. The Arctic Ocean is the smallest ocean and is located within the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere. The Arctic Ocean is the smallest and is located within the Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere. And children, we are talking about understanding the earth, but without taking the name of Ferdinand Magellan, the whole revision will be incomplete. So let's understand finally that Ferdinand Magellan was a Portuguese explorer who proved that the earth is spherical in shape. So he was the only one who proved from the other like Copernicus and Aristotle that he was the only one who proved that the earth is round in shape. I hope children the revision is sufficient and good luck for your test. Thank you.